has taken over. Let's go. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast. Steaks, chicks, stacks. You and I are going to make a lot of money. It's Ferrall, coast to coast. It's Ferrall on the bench, coast to coast, in the biggest way possible, hanging out. The Bad City, Broken Bad Apple. We are live in New Orleans, Nolens, son, at Super Bowl 59 Radio Row, off of Bourbon Street in the French Quarter, gigging the most, of course, with the notorious, put it with the golf guru himself, Carver High this afternoon, ladies. He's the original founder of the Aisle Seat podcast, the rights holder of the Sheet of Integrity, the Tutty and Tater King, rocking with me from New York City. People dressed in plastic bags, directing traffic, some kind of fashion shake up should do be. And Mafia is running it with Luke. I am your father. Unbelievable show today, Carver High. Listen to this. Joe Maloney from the American Gaming Association to discuss how much money is going to be bet legally and otherwise on Sunday's game. Randy Grimes, the former Tampa Bay Buccaneers center, will join us. Speaking of centers, I have a funny story to tell you about the guy, what's his name? Cam Jurgens, isn't that the Eagles center? I believe it is. The guy that replaced Kelsey's brother, the one that thinks he's so funny. Anyway, so this guy, Jurgens, is now the guy. Did you know he's like a beef jerky guy? He's got like his own. He's got his own line of beef jerky, and he was like trying to get me to try different beef jerkies last night, and I wasn't having it. But I will say this. I interviewed him. He was really funny. I interviewed the guy for like 10 minutes and recorded the entire thing. And when it was over, I realized that when I pressed the button to interview him, it never recorded. So I did this interview with the guy for like 15 minutes. It was hilarious. And I was like eating beef jerky. And none of it worked. I didn't have 1 second of it on tape. It was an awful feeling. I just wanted to say, while I was a piece of steer at the cattle call that is otherwise known as Media Night, there were 50,000 alleged media members fighting for positioning at these stalls where the players would speak and do interviews with little box speakers at the top of the, set that they were sitting on. They're sitting in these like chairs at a like they were doing a press conference in a box, and each player would be in this box, and they had speakers on both corners of the top of the box. And I said to the woman, there's only one problem. They don't work. You can't hear anything. So you're doing these interviews, and nobody could hear anything. It was the most embarrassing thing I've ever seen in my life, to be honest with you. I did get some great stuff, though, and you can see it on @Scott Ferrall on X. I put it all up there for and at SportsGrid, okay? So it's all there, the ones I did. I had all the good ones. I had Andy Reid. I had your boy Pacheco. I had Jawan Taylor. I had the big defensive tackle from the Eagles. What's his name? Davis? Is that about right? I can't keep track of all these people.
Jordan Davis.
Jordan Davis, that's him. And, as if I care. He was a great guy. But, it's hard for me to remember these things. As you know, after I felt like I was a piece of beef on the show Dallas with J.R. Ewing, I was a steer, the cattle, out in the field being, what do they, wrestle them up with the guys on the horses like in Yellowstone? Wasn't that what they did? I think they did the steer thing. That's what I felt like last night at the Superdome. We also have Jalin Hyatt from the Hyatt Hotels family. No, he's a receiver for the New York Football Giants. We can ask him what it's like playing for that loser coach of his and GM that have butchered the team. Maybe I won't ask that, but I was thinking about it. Also today, the lovely and stunning Paige Spiranek from the brand new Lost Pages YouTube channel on SportsGrid. And I did meet her last night. They introduced me to Paige last night, and I got along terrifically with her because did you know this, Carver High? Her father played on the 1976 Pitt Panther National Championship football team. And she is, her parents are from Pittsburgh. She is not from Pittsburgh, though. She grew up in Colorado, but she knew all about Pittsburgh and Oakmont Country Club, and I got along terrifically with her, or as they say, swimmingly. And I'm going to have her on today, and I'm very excited. Plus, TD is with us today. Thomas Dimitroff, the former Falcons GM, president of operations at Sumer Sports. Mike DeCourcy will join us from the Sporting News. Tom Pelissaro from the NFL Network as well. And listen to this, just for good measure. Always good to have Stewie on Coast to Coast. Your boy Keith Stewart, Stewie from Read the Line today with Carver High getting involved, talking golf as they play at the Waste Management Open in Phoenix, which is the Drunken Open. Right, Carver High? Isn't that the one where everybody just pounds booze and screams and yells and throws beer cups on the golf course?
Yeah, over the last 3 years, the arrests and the citations at the Waste Management Open have gone up like 85% over the last 3 years. Like, it's gotten worse and worse, the amount of action that goes on at that place. But it will be rowdy.
Well, I like it.
At TPC Scottsdale coming up this week. Yeah, that's what I was kind of just hoping for here at the beginning. I figured you were going to give me a little taste of last night. I saw a few of your videos. I saw you got this. I mean, it was a sea of people out there, and they had you right down there on the field, right at the field on the sidelines there where the game's going to be.
Yeah.
It looked like quite the spectacle at the Superdome for you last night.
I mean, honestly, like I have to say that there was a. And Mafia saw it. It really bothered me. There was a genie there, a guy dressed as a genie.
What, like?
And he
like
was
from Aladdin?
Yeah, he was.
What, like,
listen, he had the color blue. He had from Aladdin. He was colored exactly like the color of your shirt. His entire body and face, every inch of him was covered in blue. His ears, his face, everything. And then he literally walked around and would go up to players and ask them to make a wish. And he would give them, 3 wishes or something like this. And it was the most embarrassing thing I've ever seen in my life. And I wanted to skull F him. I wanted to. I actually wanted to rabbit punch him, NHL style. First, I wanted to plexiglass him, and then rabbit punch him. There was another guy. I was filming. I think it was. Maybe it was Jalin Hurts. I think I was filming Jalin Hurts. And, it's so violent. The thing is so violent, this thing. It's not, I got to be honest, it's done poorly is really what it amounts to. So here I am standing there, and I'm 6'4", so I'm holding my camera up, and I'm taller than everybody, so I was able to do it. And then I guess my cuff link or something, what do they call the end of your shirt, your dress shirt, down here by the cuff link, and mine was open. I just had it open, and I think it, like the breeze may have moved it a little bit, and it hit this guy in the head. It like scraped his hairdo or something. He had like a spiked hairdo, and it scraped his hairdo, and he swung at me and smashed my arm, and I told him that if he touched me again, he was going to get to know me on a personal level with me on top of him, hurting him. I said, I'm just going to let you know, you touch me again, I'm going to truck you, and I'm going to sit on your head, and I'm going to snap your neck. And so, it was like a violent experience for me, to be honest with you. I also had a security guard smash my phone on the cement and break my $1,000 phone. I was really excited about that. The guy he was another one I wanted to beat up. So there was at least 2 people I wanted to beat up last night. But there were, I would say maybe upwards of 10 women that I wanted to make love to. So it all evened out in the end.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
I have no idea how to categorize what Mavericks GM Nico Harrison pulled off, Joe. All I know is that he shipped off Luka Doncic without telling Luka about it.
If you thought conditioning was a problem for Luka, wait until you get a load of Anthony Davis tripping over air and then missing 40 games because he's like Glass Joe's.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
Well, Carver High, as you know, when you're at the Radio Row at the Super Bowl, which is where we are in New Orleans, the schedule can be a little bit rigid. And people that are scheduled to show up and do the show don't show up on time because they might be doing another interview somewhere else, and then they get lost in the interview and they lose track of time, and then they fail in their bid to show up to do the all-important Ferrall Coast to Coast show with the illustrious Carver High. Thus, we give them a failing grade. And and so another thing, a way of looking at it is, since Joe's not here, what we'll do is we'll talk about it for Joe. So how about this? $1.3 billion is expected to be bet on Sunday's game legally in the United States. Imagine how much money will be bet illegally in the United States, Mike.
Yeah, and it's, there was like a chart that came out along with this story, in 2016.
Charts and graphs, people.
Charts and graphs, people. I guess it was like 2016 or 2017. There was only one state where you could legally bet on the game. That, of course, was Nevada. And then as the years have gone on, the numbers have gotten bigger and bigger and bigger to now, as we sit here in 2025 Super Bowl, 38 states and D.C. and Puerto Rico. So we've gone from 8 years ago to now 38 in that span of time. So that's pretty amazing, and that's how you get $1.3 billion legally bet on the game when you have that much territory. And that doesn't even have California, Texas, right? I don't even have those two.
Honestly, when you think about it, just from a standpoint of, D.C. it's enormous. It's like at the Capital One Center, they got a sports book in there. Puerto Rico, God bless them. But, they get hurricanes, they have devastation, and yet they still have gambling. And then you have Texas and California. How embarrassing is it, honestly, Mike, that they don't have sports betting? California has more problems than all of the United States and Canada put together, and Puerto Rico and Cuba. They have more problems in California than all of those states and countries and places put together. And they are broke. The entire state is burned to the ground. There's drought. There's no water. There's 13% taxes. And they don't have sports betting. Do you realize what sports betting did to New York and to New Jersey, and frankly, everywhere that there's sports betting, they make money. Tons of money. They make tons of money, the state. 51% of the money goes to New York. So that's 51 cents on the dollar goes to New York. and they actually make it work for the state of New York. How is California, Mike? Explain it to me. So backward-assed. How is Gavin Newsom so stupid? And I'm friends with Gavin. I like him. But how stupid do you have to be not to have it?
Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense. And if you're still one of the 12 states that hasn't gotten involved yet, how do you not look at the numbers of the other 38 and go, yeah, you know what, we're all right. We don't need all that money. You know, we're gonna be okay. We're just fine without it. I think it's preposterous. At this point, you got to
really
embrace
is.
it, and that includes California. It's completely ridiculous that they're not getting involved because everyone wants to be involved. Let's go. I mean, what are we waiting for here?
I mean,
12 states,
honestly,
turn the light on already.
So when I go to, Pittsburgh to the Steeler games, right, the casino is literally in the parking lot of the football stadium. There's a giant
like
casino.
In MetLife, like MetLife.
Like at MetLife, there's a giant casino. I mean, but, MetLife, to me, is a sports book.
MetLife's just a sports book. Just a sports book. Yeah, that's a Pittsburgh. It's a full-blown casino with craps and blackjack and everything going on in there, right?
So let me tell you how it's changed here. So the last time I was here, and you've been here, the last time I was here, you went down to the Mississippi River and got on the Harrah's steamboat, and that's where the casino was. Yep. Now they have a brand new casino, a Caesars, in the middle of the French Quarter, and it's enormous. And it's been open for 3 years, and it's amazing. You go in there, it's just, it's a vacuum for your money. I mean, it really is. And
I've been in there.
How about this? Friday night is $5,000 a room per night. Friday, Saturday night, $5,000 for a normal, 2-queen room. Honestly, I'd have a stroke.
It's Super Bowl week. You want to stay there? You're going to have to pony it up. Get the big bucks out.
Yeah.
If you're in town for the game. It's a whole nother world.
I think there should be. I think there. For me, I think it's a thing where I think states that have, let's just say, fiscal damage, where they have problems with their economies and they're broke and there's no jobs and there's unemployment rampant and there's the high cost of living and inflation and everything that goes with it, and you don't have. Listen, you may not agree with it. I get it. Fair enough. I'm down with that. I'm a reasonable fella. I understand why you don't like sports gambling or casino gambling at all. I can see why people would, veer that direction. It is, dangerous. There's no getting around the fact that it's a very dangerous way to live and play. You will lose money if you're a bettor. You will lose. That's just all there is to it. But what I'm talking about here is the business end of it for the states. Because these casinos and these sports books know what they're doing, and they're willing to split that 51-49 with a state like New York because they're going to make so much money with that 49 to make your head spin. And the state's going to make that 51 on the dollar make your head spin the amount of money. It took New York all of about, Mike, 2 years to be King Tutankhamun in sports betting in America. Here's New York now. Here's New York. Here's Jersey. And here's Nevada. That's just all there is to it. I get it. Vegas to me is a vacation destination, a gambling mecca. I get that. But New York and New Jersey kick their ass.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
I have no idea how to categorize what Mavericks GM Nico Harrison pulled off, Joe. All I know is that he shipped off Luka Doncic without telling Luka about it.
If you thought conditioning was a problem for Luka, wait till you get a load of Anthony Davis tripping over air and then missing 40 games because he's like Glass Joe's.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid.
All right, back at Radio Row in New Orleans on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. Everybody knows that by now, right? And we're here in New Orleans getting ready for Sunday and the Eagles and Chiefs. I'm so glad you got Luka responding today at his presser with the Lakers, Carver High, because I was going to watch it, and one thing led to another, and I didn't get to see it, so I want to hear what he had to say.
Yeah, today he did get introduced in Los Angeles at practice this morning. Of course, after the trade, we talked about it a lot yesterday. I do have a couple for you from him. Here he is first talking about getting the news late on Saturday night that he was out of Dallas and heading to L.A.
And everybody was surprised, so you can imagine how surprised I was. I was almost asleep, so when I got a call, I had to check it was April 1st. I didn't really believe it at first. And it was a bit shock. It was hard moments for me. It was home, so it was really hard moments for me, especially the first day. But as I said, I get to play in the greatest club in the world, and I'm excited for this new journey.
Yeah, I mean, the one story you heard about, right? If it's true that he had just bought a $15 million crib in Dallas, and then I guess that'll be listed soon.
Yeah, I mean, you might have to. He's probably gonna have to hold on for that a little bit. There's not too many people who could just walk up and pick up a $15 million crib on a whim. So he might have to, for real estate purposes, hold on to that one for a while.
Then again, Mike. Then again, how about this idea? There's no state tax in Texas, and he lives in Texas, and he has a house in Texas. So what he should do is play in L.A. and still live in his mansion in Texas and keep all his money and not give it to the greedy hands of the California lawmakers. Honestly, California is the biggest ripoff in the world.
It's like the Pete Alonso thing we did yesterday. He's got the house in Florida, so he doesn't get taxed in New York or anywhere. So
that's right.
Luke is right. He's got a $15 million house in Texas, no tax there. Go rent in Los Angeles while you're playing for the Lakers. We may have to get Robert Raiola back on the tax man. The tax man cometh with all the tax information of these guys' contracts. Here's one more from Luka. He is looking to embrace his move out to Los Angeles. We talk about this all the time. There ain't nothing wrong with living by the ocean in L.A.
Yeah, I would say, like you said, I thought I was going to spend my whole career there. Because I think loyalty is a big word for me, and I was trying to stay by that. But this for me is a fresh start. I get to play in LA. The fans are amazing, and I got the ocean here, so it's a really big thing for me. But really, I'm really excited to be here. I getting to play for the Lakers. Not everybody can say that. And many, many legends passed here, many, many championships. So that's my goal.
Well, there you go. And, it's funny because he was in the finals. He got him there. He carried him on his back. He averaged 30-plus. And now what he's going to do is, and they couldn't, they got swept. But what's going to happen now is he's going to play for the Lakers and he's going to win a title or several. He's going to be like, in my opinion, Kobe did it with Shaq and without. I think that Luka Doncic will win titles in Los Angeles with LeBron or without. He's going to win titles there just like Kobe did on his own or with whoever. He's going to win. I mean, the Lakers win titles. That's just all there is to it.
That is all there is to it. He also said he's super excited to learn from LeBron. Can't wait to play with him on the court. And he is a lot closer than you thought. They're thinking maybe Saturday, at the worst Monday, he's going to make his Laker debut. He's going to start playing 5-on-5 tomorrow with the team. So I think we're going to see Luka in pretty short order here out there playing with the Lakers.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. You said he said, or whoever, that he's going to learn from LeBron. It might be the other way around. I don't deny LeBron James' greatness, okay? Fair enough. But this guy is so special. He's such an incredible baller that he doesn't need lessons from anybody about anything. I mean, I would say the only thing that LeBron James could help him with would be his conditioning. That's it. Like, what's LeBron going to teach this dude how to play basketball? Are you kidding me? I mean, this guy's just lights out badass. What he needs to do is stop eating.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
I have no idea how to categorize what Mavericks GM Nico Harrison's pulled off, Joe. All I know is that he shipped off Luka Doncic without telling Luka about it.
If you thought conditioning was a problem for Luka, wait until you get a load of Anthony Davis tripping over air and then missing 40 games because he's like Glass Joe's.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
All right, so we're back in Vegas at Radio Row. It's good to see Randy Grimes again, the former Tampa Bay Buccaneer center, and now he's, speaking of centers, he's at Sober Center 60, of course. You can follow it on X at Sober Center 60. Played for the Bucs in the 80s, into the 90s. Played in tons of games. Played at Baylor and Waco. Right? Like, we got to get his mic going, unless I'm imagining things. I'm not hearing him at all. So, anyway, drafted 45th overall, second round in 83. Is that about right?
That is right, yeah. 83.
So, is it just me, or I'm not getting them on the mic? So I'm not getting him on the mic at all. So I just want to see if we can get that going first.
Yeah, let's do it right.
So you know what I mean?
Let's do it right.
Is it just me? Are you hearing?
I can hear him a little.
I can hear you perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Heather,
we're right next door.
Now I got you. Now you sound great, Randy. It's good to see you.
1, 2, 3.
So you're good. Anyway, I am not very good at all with technology. Just so we're clear. I have no say. Same thing with anything else you mentioned. Like, I don't know. I'm not good.
You're not good with anything.
But I was good with you when we both sat down and had a problem. Like, I'm not comfortable. You're not comfortable. I'm not comfortable.
Let's do it.
But
right.
I'm working on that. I am working on that. Heather, now you're with the Recovery Center as well,
right.
The Sober Center?
Yes.
How's that going for you?
Well, she's the founder and CEO of the center that I use with my players, with
Right.
the Player Care Foundation.
And where is it again?
It's in Houston.
In Houston.
Mm-hmm.
I remember we talked about it last year in Vegas at the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
And
we've always talked about it.
how has it grown each year to year in terms of guys that are going there, people getting help?
Well, and I'll let Heather answer a lot of that, but, the guys are reaching out to me. They're desperate for help. They've been struggling for a long time in silence. You know how we are,
Of course.
athletes.
They hide it.
They hide it. Guilt, shame,
Who
ego,
doesn't?
pride.
Who doesn't hide their addictions?
Right.
Right.
That's the way we were raised.
I don't think that'll ever change.
No, we're trying to make it easier for guys to raise their hand and ask for
Right.
help.
It's a horrible disease, is what
Right.
it is.
But once I get them in, I turn them over to Heather, and she's the one that does the real work on them. Digging out that whatever makes them do what they do, and usually it's a lot more than just chronic pain.
Right.
They're self-medicating
Right.
feelings and transition feelings and stuff like that.
And Heather, respectfully, what's your last name?
Stokes.
Stokes. Heather Stokes is a CEO of the company, and obviously you're dealing with all these athletes and others as well. Is it just athletes, or is it others?
Well, it's
anybody.
everybody, yeah.
It's anybody. Anybody that needs help. And what are you seeing? I mean, it has to be crazy.
It is, especially with the fentanyl epidemic. A lot of individuals on the opiates, and then they're not available, right, anymore. And so fentanyl is cheap, and it's in everything. And so we're seeing a lot more.
That doesn't scare the hell out of people. Like, I can't even fathom, like, a pin needle of fentanyl
Right.
kills you.
Right.
Who wants that
Right.
in their
the
life?
insanity
I don't
of this
understand.
disease
baffling.
makes real addicts want to go out and find that,
Right.
Oh, but that's demented.
It's cheaper, right, and it's stronger.
And they want that high to see if they can dance with the devil. Like, you're
Sometimes.
dancing with death.
Because I think that they would rather do that than be themselves, because they're not sure who they are, right? And they're struggling, and they're suffering in silence, and they're just.
So I walked down the
insanity.
street on Bourbon Street, and I mean, it took me 5 minutes before I saw like 100 junkies.
Yeah.
Really?
I mean, they're everywhere. They're like cockroaches.
Yeah.
They're everywhere. You could just see it.
Well, you never know around Bourbon
Well, they're
Street.
suffering. I mean, they're suffering, and it's
miserable.
I can tell, I can see it. I've been around it my whole life.
Yeah.
I've been around, addiction and people suffering with it, alcoholism, drugs, whatever. What's weird is that on the same level, I talk to like Kyle Turley all the time, my friend, and he's into the cannabis.
Right,
He's into
right.
the weed end of it. Now, if you're at a recovery center, you're dealing with just full sobriety. You're not interested in people smoking weed to deal with their pain. You want them to
Right.
be completely sober.
Right. We meet the individual where they're at and seeing why are they self-medicating, right? And what is the root cause, and then finding holistic modalities for true healing. If there's pain, let's navigate that. Let's look at other modalities.
But let's just face facts.
Yeah.
Guys that smoke chronic weed, that's doing narcotics as well. That is the same thing. You're getting high to mask your pain. Is you're still getting high.
It's not the same weed.
It's mind altering any way you slice it. Right. So I've heard people say, "Oh yeah, I just deal with pain with weed, and I've got no more problems." Jim McMahon, they've been on my show. They're like, I don't have dementia now. I don't have Alzheimer's now. I don't have the pain now. I smoke weed all day. And I'm like, you're still getting high all day.
Right.
Like I'm not that dumb.
Right. They're not their truest self, right? And there's more studies coming out showing the devastating effects of chronic marijuana use.
And how do you feel about it? You feel like that's a dangerous slope because now it's stronger than ever.
It's not the same weed. When we were growing up, this stuff is genetically engineered. It's strong. It's potent. And, if there's any kind of underlying mental health issue going on, that's just going to exacerbate it, make it worse.
And come on. So,
and it is a gateway.
So it is. My son goes to college, right, in California, and he smokes. And I've said this on the air publicly. I just come right out with it. I'm not a phony. Like, he smokes. They all smoke weed, like these kids in college. And I'm like, he's a dean's list student. And I'm like, so he's home for Christmas. I'm like, what are you doing? You're like smoking weed all day, and you got a 4.0. You're a dean's list. You want to be a lawyer, and what do you think? You're going to just smoke dope the rest of your life? And it's not going to fry your brain. Eventually, you're gonna stop going to class. You're gonna eat a bag of Doritos. Eventually, you're not getting out of bed. Like, eventually, you're going to become. That's going to become more important to you than being a straight A student and being a winner. It really upsets me. Yeah. Randy, what did you do to your foot? I'm very concerned about your foot.
My foot is fine.
I mean, Randy, what have you done now?
It's an old injury from the 80s and 90s. I'm just now getting it fixed.
So after I had open heart surgery, I had so I'm only allowed to take Tylenol.
Oh, wow.
Right. So I take Tylenol 500 regularly. I can't take any other kinds. I have like a artificial heart clamp, and I have all these fake valves and everything in my chest, and I can only take Tylenol. What do you do when you're in pain now in your life? Because you played football for so long. Don't tell me when you get out of bed, I bet you're like the Tin Man.
Yeah. I probably will die, probably of Advil abuse or something like that. But there's non-narcotic ways to deal with pain. It's pain. Rehab has come such a long way than when I played, and there's more alternatives out there. There's even better medications that you can take that are non-narcotic.
When you played, and when you're compare it to now, you're saving lives. Like, playing football had to get your rocks off. It had to be cool playing college football, playing pro football, being in the limelight. That's all great and fine and dandy, which. I've been there and done all that, been famous, all this other stuff. None of that matters when you're saving lives. Don't tell me that doesn't mean more to you than playing football.
Oh, absolutely. It's almost like God was preparing me all those years to do what I do now. I used to think football was life and death, but no, this is life and death.
So what do you think of this old football legend that is saving lives and helping you at your place make a difference in people's lives? It's pretty special.
He's absolutely inspirational to be so bold and brave many years ago, right? And not afraid to stand up and say, this is my story, and you can get well. You don't have to die inside.
And then I believe that you actually stomped on his foot and broke it in the kitchen at the recovery center. Heather, you did it.
Does that show? Because that's exactly what
I do. When I'm with my wife and I've said something wrong, we're out in public and we're with people and I've said something wrong, she'll give me the crank on the foot or the heel, the stiletto to the top of the foot like Jesus. She gives it to me. You did that to him. Hey, it's great to see you.
New Orleans.
Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Heather. And Randy, always good to see you, brother. God bless.
Always.
we're going to get rid of all the badness, if you will, over the past few decades for the Raiders and set yourself up for the future. It's a horrible job to take if you expect to win, but it's not a bad paying gig, so go ahead and take it.
With an owner in Mark Davis who has continued to make bad decision after bad decision. Does Pete Carroll leave a culture behind that Joe Brady in 2 to 3 years takes over?
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
But don't tell anybody. I'm sick of coming here every year and talking about the Kansas City Chiefs.
Look, remember a few years ago we were here, people saying, Andy Reid's going to retire. I'm like, no way. When you're riding Seabiscuit, Secretariat, when you're riding a horse that you know can win, who would jump off that?
Ferrall Coast to Coast. Only on SportsGrid.
All right, back in New Orleans at the Super Bowl week at Radio Row with Carver High. We're getting people as they come. Obviously, we have people scheduled to be here almost every segment of the show today. And when they show up, it's fantastic. When they don't, I wish ill will on them. And I place bocce jinxes on them and their friends and their family members. So I go back to Carver High in New York, who's always dependable, who I can always count on, who I never have to worry about ever. It's all the rest of these hooligans that don't show up when I need them to show up and perform at a high level like Carver High does.
No doubt about that. I'm here. That's for sure. There was another trade today. There's been a lot of trade chatter. Dallas made another move this afternoon after the big Luka AD trade the other night. Quentin Grimes going to Philadelphia for Caleb Martin. Your boy Caleb Martin now on the Dallas Mavericks, after this move today. Everyone was hot for Caleb Martin. He was like one of the big names everyone was after here the last couple days. He's getting a lot of burn.
He can play. I mean, he's got a decent game, right? He was with, like, the Heat, right, at one point. Am I tripping? And then now so Quentin Grimes in a second round of the Sixers for Martin. So they add, imagine what they've added. They get Martin, who can flat out play. I mean, he's a nice piece, right? He can go, I think, somewhere in the neighborhood of, 12 to 16 per. He can have a 25-point night. I've seen him do it. And then I remember Quentin Grimes. Wasn't he on the Knicks at one point, Mike? I think he was. And then, so they go to Philly. I got to tell you, for my money, the Sixers stink. I mean, they really do. They're just like, they might as well just get rid of everybody now by Thursday. They should trade Paul George, who they remember their entire offseason was about getting Paul George. They brought Paul George there, and what has he done in Philly besides, nothing? And now Dallas gets this guy on top of AD. Can you imagine how tough? Look, Dallas now, defensively, Mike, is the loaded gun in the NBA. They have the best defensive team in the NBA. Now, I get it. People would say it's Boston because the Celtics won the title. And everyone thinks that, just like in the NFL, the way the Chiefs go to, 5 of the last 6 Super Bowls, that they're going to be in the Super Bowl every single year. We've come to know that. But now everyone thinks the same thing's going to happen with the Boston Celtics, that they're just going to go to the NBA Finals every year. And I'm not buying that. That team in Dallas, flat out, defensively, how are you going to score against that team? I mean, they really have guys that can, Gabbard. I mean, they have all these guys, Washington, now Davis, They have some guys that can flat out defend, and now they add this guy Martin to the mix. I mean, they're just getting tougher by the minute. People can say whatever they want about that GM, who has been, since the deal for Luka, has been abused down there. They want to kill him. They literally, because fans are so stupid, they really are, that they want him dead, right? They want this GM dead. And what he's really doing is, I think, at the end of the day, seriously, a fantastic job. I mean, he is loading this team up for bear. They mean business defensively, and they can flat out play. How do you stop Kyrie Irving? No one can stop him. He can score on anybody in the NBA, and no one can stop Anthony Davis when he's healthy. If he's on the floor and healthy, he is a machine, a double-double machine. He's a monster. When he's injured, he's injured. I mean, there's no denying he misses games, but I think overall they just keep getting better by the minute.
Yeah, and just you were mentioning about the Mavericks. I saw a story just a couple minutes ago. The Mavericks have made an unprecedented move with season ticket holders. They are giving people, I guess, were calling to cancel their season tickets after they traded Luka away. So apparently the Mavs have offered refunds to season ticket holders who chose to cancel their plans for the remaining home games. Unprecedented move is reported to be valued around $2,000 and appears to be a sign that the team knows it alienated a good portion of it. So people called up and started leaving when they got rid of Luka. They didn't care about all the other stuff that they brought in. They just wanted nothing to do with it.
I got to tell you, frankly, I got to tell you, I think you're, if you do that, you're stupid, because the bottom line is, honestly, like, they're still a really good team. You know what I mean? They're still good. So
they are.
Mike, take it away, brother. And I'll say this: what it does to me, it opens the door for fans in Dallas that want to be season ticket holders, that want to go to games. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, that's precisely what it does. And look, I don't think that they're done either. We still have until Thursday, late Thursday afternoon, when this trade deadline was going around. You were talking about the Sixers. There's some talk that the Warriors have called them about Paul George, and that might be a possibility. I think you're right. They should strip the whole thing down while they have an opportunity to do so, because it's been such a disastrous year there in front of them that you just cannot have it anymore, that's for sure. So I will go through a couple things from last night with you as well when we get done later on, including that great win by the Knicks at the Garden against the Rockets.
Yeah, all right, so am I going to talk to Jalin here for 1 minute? Is that what you're doing to me? Jesus Christ, honestly, what is this? Like, am I having a bad luck day? I shouldn't go to the casino tonight is what I think I should do. Jalin, what's happening, brother?
I'm good. How about you?
My man.
Yes,
so it's great to see you. We're from New York as well.
Oh, yeah, that's what's up.
How's that going for you, bro?
It's been good. It's been good, man.
I think it would be fantastic if, obviously it's been rough, but you guys need... Obviously, you're in a great position for a draft pick to make the team better. Yep. That's what they need. I mean, it's been frustrating at times, right? Like, it's about time to start winning in New York.
Yeah, it's been difficult, man.
Like, the fans, when you win in New York, it's top shelf status.
I heard.
The best.
Yeah.
But when you lose there, it is stressful.
It's tough.
So has it been a drag for you?
It's been both ways, man. Obviously, it's been disappointing season. So with that, obviously you're going to have your ups and downs. And, you got to win in New York. If you don't win in New York, that's what happens.
So can you hang around for a couple minutes so I can at least talk to you? Because, I think 45 seconds with you sucks for me, for my money. Like, that's going to bum me out. Because I really want to talk to him. We'll talk to Jalin when we come back from Vegas. Or from...
we're going to get rid of all the badness, if you will, over the past few decades for the Raiders and set yourself up for the future. It's a horrible job to take if you expect to win, but it's not a bad paying gig, so go ahead and take it.
With an owner in Mark Davis who has continued to make bad decision after bad decision. Does Pete Carroll leave a culture behind that Joe Brady in 2 to 3 years takes over?
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
But don't tell anybody. I'm sick of coming here every year and talking about the Kansas City Chiefs.
Look, remember a few years ago we were here, people saying, Andy Reid's going to retire. I'm like, no way. When you're riding Seabiscuit, Secretariat, when you're riding a horse that you know can win, who would jump off that?
Ferrall Coast to Coast. Only on SportsGrid.
All right, back with Jalin Hyatt. We're in Nolens off Bourbon Street in the French Quarter at the Radio Row for Super Bowl 59 with the Eagles and Chiefs on Sunday. But since we saw that 2 years ago, I'd rather talk about that fat deal you have with Hyatt.
Yes,
because if you got one of those, you are just Gandhi. So wherever you go, you got Hyatt juice behind you?
I do, yes.
That is crazy. How did that land in your lap? I would have been tripping.
Yeah. This is actually my third year. This is our third year doing a partnership. Me and Hyatt, Word of Hyatt, and what we're doing this year is a little different. For the third year, we want to do a partnership where it's like a fine experience. What that means is we're doing two places. It's going to be New Orleans, Hyatt Centric, right here on Bourbon Street, 10 minutes away, and then we got the Hyatt Park in New York, where one of the best Hyatts that they ever made, right there in New York City. And it's like a fine experience where you get 2 free nights. You get to stay. It's like a Jalin Hyatt experience. You get a video from me. You get what I usually get when I go to Hyatt's place to stay for a little bit.
Right.
It's a great experience, and we're starting it. Since it's our third year with a partnership. We're going to do it this year for the third year. I think it's.
I've stayed in a lot of them all over the world, in the tropics and the Caribbean. I've stayed at them. They got them everywhere.
They do.
I mean, when you were at Tennessee playing, I bet you never thought you'd land something like that. Like
I didn't
you'd
think
rather
about
catch
it.
touchdowns.
I didn't think about it until NIL started coming.
Really?
Then that's when I started thinking, Hyatt.
Wow.
It makes
well,
sense.
so when you were there, like, how many years did you get to taste that? The NIL.
Only 1 year.
Just 1 year?
Yeah, just 1 year.
So 1 year you made money.
Yep.
And then you were like, man, this would have been nice for the whole time.
It would have been nice. It would have been nice.
It's crazy now.
Listen,
there's dudes now that are making more money staying and playing in college than going to this league and not playing.
And not playing.
And not making no money.
Yep.
Because I know how it works. I've been around it for, 41 years. I've seen what happens with the dollar valuations from one down.
Yep.
And from first round to second round to third, it gets worse by the minute.
Minute by the second.
But look at that, like, Ohio State football team. That was a $20 million price tag.
Oh, yeah.
And Miami's price tag, Notre Dame's price tag. You saw how that playoff worked out. Whoever had the most money went the furthest.
Come on with the furthest.
Listen, I have
right.
to say this, though. I really do have to say this. I'm a Canes fan. I've been forever. I went to Indiana University for basketball. I like basketball.
Okay.
But I'm a Canes football fan. But I have to say that I think that the women at Knoxville, I'm going to just say this live on television all over the world, the hottest women in the world go to Tennessee. That's the greatest. I think it's the greatest stadium full of hot chicks in college. And, like, you can't even watch the game. You cannot watch. No one even knew you at Tennessee. You were one of the star players because too many people were staring at hot chicks in the stadium. The game was going on, and I'm sitting there at my seat fucking over it.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Oh, I bet.
I mean,
Tennessee was fun.
But how did you end up there from South Carolina? You were a kid from South Carolina,
Yeah, I am
right?
from South Carolina. I didn't get offered by South Carolina or Clemson.
So you hate them both.
I do. I don't like South Carolina
because they didn't do you up.
Well, it's because I'm home state. You know what I mean? And
you thought it would happen
at that time. I grew up being a South Carolina fan. You know what I mean? And my parents were South Carolina fans growing up, Gamecock fans, and then when I went on their camp, they didn't offer me, which is okay. But Clemson didn't offer me either.
My daughter wants to go there. She wants to go
Clemson
she wants to go to South Carolina.
Okay.
And I think I'm gonna interfere with that. I'm gonna send a big wide screen pic and not let her go there because of what they did to you.
Yeah. It's just with South Carolina, you got to be careful.
And now none of those dudes that played at South Carolina have a deal with Hyatt.
Oh, you know it.
That's what I'm talking about.
You know it.
You need to win in New York, son.
We have to.
And then you need to have a party at that Hyatt in Manhattan.
We will.
That's what I'm talking about.
We will.
You need to go down the Canyon of Heroes with that Lombardi. Who do you think? Imagine then your deal with Hyatt. And you're going to ask him for more money is what I would do. What do you think of who's going to win Sunday? You know what? I hope they both lose. I really do.
Look, I like both teams. And the reason I say this is because I like Saquon.
He's the man.
You know, he's one of my guys. Just because of what he done for me my rookie year when he was there, always looked out for me being a leader. But then I do like the Chiefs. I like Pat Mahomes. I like Xavier Worthy. I love how they use him. And obviously I like that Chiefs defense. And the Eagles defense as well is stacked. Both teams are stacked, man. If I had to choose, I'm probably going Chiefs just because of Patty.
Yeah, because they never lose.
Just because of Patty. Not only that, this is his third year in the Super Bowl. He done it. But I am rooting for Saquon.
So I went to dinner with your coach when he was fat, and we were both fat at the same time. And because I love eating.
Yeah.
That guy loves to eat. What did he stop eating? He stopped eating. Now he's skinny, eating salad.
He's skinny Dave now.
When you see him, tell him Ferrall said you got to go back to eating again. It's way more fun being fat.
I'll let him know.
Hey man, it's great to meet you, bro. My man, congratulations.
Yes, sir.
We're going to get rid of all the badness, if you will, over the past few decades for the Raiders and set yourself up for the future. It's a horrible job to take if you expect to win, but it's not a bad paying gig, so go ahead and take it.
With an owner in Mark Davis who has continued to make bad decision after bad decision. Does Pete Carroll leave a culture behind that Joe Brady in 2 to 3 years takes over?
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
But don't tell anybody. I'm sick of coming here every year and talking about the Kansas City Chiefs.
Look, remember a few years ago we were here, people saying, Andy Reid's going to retire. I'm like, no way. When you're riding Seabiscuit, Secretariat, when you're riding a horse that you know can win, who would jump off that?
Ferrall Coast to Coast. Only on SportsGrid.